They've done a great job of rigging this. They've done a great job of rigging this league. The league, they're not even being subtle. They're not even being subtle. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
If it wasn't already the Indiana Fever versus the world this season, now we've got proof. The Fever's game against the reigning champion New York Liberty had everything you'd want. Star power, high stakes, a sold-out crowd in Indy, and the energy of a playoff game. For many, it felt like a championship preview. Two of the league's most exciting teams going head-to-head in front of a national audience. It should have been a major win for the WNBA. But of course it's the WNBA, so naturally there had to be controversy. And once again, it came from the refs.
I can't believe what I'm about to say. The Indiana Fever, with the strongest, loudest, most intimidating home court advantage in all the WNBA, just got robbed at home. I saw it with my own two eyes live on CBS.
Just like last season, fans were left scratching their heads, or straight up yelling at their screens. Missed calls, questionable fouls, and moments that swung the game in favor of the reigning champs. The outrage was swift. Social media lit up with fans and analysts calling it out.
But I will just say the lopsided officiating was absolutely insane.
And the controversy isn't just about a few missed calls, though let's be clear, those were brutal. And we'll get into them in just a second. The real issue is that this is part of a much bigger pattern. A pattern that started last year, got worse in the preseason, and now is reaching a boiling point just a few games into the regular season. And if you think I'm exaggerating, just wait until you hear some of the stats about how lopsided the officiating has been against the Fever this season. It's not just 1 or 2 games, it's every game. And the numbers are downright embarrassing for the league. It's gotten so bad that even the Fever have had enough. Head coach Stephanie White didn't hold back after the Liberty game. It wasn't vague, it wasn't diplomatic, it was a straight-up warning shot. And even Caitlin Clark, who usually keeps it cool, threw in a little dig of her own. Let's get into exactly what happened. But first, like this video if you think the refs are unfair to the Fever. Comment if you disagree, and don't forget to subscribe.
This is another year and another case of WNBA referees dropping the ball, not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
What we're about to see, and what's got fans, analysts, and even players up in arms, isn't some one-off bad night by the refs. It's a pattern. A long, frustrating, borderline dangerous pattern. And it goes all the way back to last season. From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto a WNBA court, it was obvious she was going to be treated differently. The physicality ramped up, players were taking extra liberties, and the referees, they swallowed their whistles. It started early and often, and there were moments last year where Caitlin looked visibly rattled.
I feel like I'm getting hammered. I don't know. I appreciate Christy getting a tech too. I don't know.
And then, of course, you had the Kennedy Carter incident. The hit heard round the league. Caitlin Clark got blindsided off the ball in what was clearly a frustration foul. And what did the refs do? They called it a common foul, not a flagrant. It was the boiling point for many fans. If that wasn't going to get upgraded in real time, what would? And the worst part? The non-calls didn't stop there. They followed Caitlin right into the playoffs.
Like, even in the playoffs last year, do we not remember when Caitlin Clark is shooting a layup and she's in the air and Marina Mabry commits a block, a hit on the arm, a blocking foul, like a whatever hit on the arm foul, everything. She just comes late and is like, Caitlin's not getting a layup. Jumps sideways into her, takes her arms out, knocks Caitlin on the ground, and then stops because she knows she's fouled, and the referees are like, play on, play on.
There are honestly too many examples to even show in one video. You could make an entire documentary out of the missed calls alone. And look, nobody's asking for a bubble wrap rulebook here. Players are always going to play Caitlin hard because she's Caitlin Clark. She's the best player on the court most nights. That comes with a target on your back. And there's no problem with hard fouls or letting the game flow. But the problem? The consistency just hasn't been there. The Fever seemed to always get the short end of the foul stick. And things didn't get any better in the preseason.
It is kind of interesting that Caitlin Clark hasn't been to the free throw line at all.
Caitlin Clark wasn't getting any free throws, 0. And it's not because she wasn't getting fouled. It's because the refs were flat out ignoring it. In the first few games alone, there's already a clear pattern. Clark drives, takes contact, gets hacked, and nothing. Whistles stay in the pockets. Eventually, the frustration boiled over. You could see it in her body language, and you could definitely feel it when she picked up a tech just for pointing out the obvious. And in the 3 regular season games leading up to the matchup against the Liberty, the imbalance continued. Stephanie White's going to lay out the numbers in a minute, and they're mind-blowing. We're talking clear as day disparity. But still, some people brushed it off. Said it's just early season stuff. That things would settle down, and the officiating would get more consistent. Well, the Fever's marquee matchup against the Liberty, the defending champs, was the perfect test. And before we get into the controversy, let's be clear. This was a great game, full of drama. The crowd was loud, the energy was playoff level, and both teams showed out.
I mean, they have 9 baskets, and I have them unofficially with 7 right-handed layups.
Clark found a hole in the defense.
Now Caitlin's going to wait for Aaliyah Boston here.
Goes over the top, Boston, the catch fading away, goes off the glass.
Lexi Hull was a spark plug, making big plays all over the court. And Aaliyah Boston reminded everyone exactly why she was the #1 pick in 2023. And as you saw, there was a great connection between Caitlin and Aaliyah. The chemistry was obvious. Caitlin was threading the needle on passes, and Aaliyah was finishing strong in the paint. They were reading each other, communicating mid-play, and creating real problems for New York's defense.
This is the best passing connection I can remember since John Stockton was feeding Karl Malone back in the Utah days.
And while Caitlin didn't have an all-time great performance by her usual standards, she still delivered the kind of moments that remind you exactly who she is. She hit tough shots, made jaw-dropping passes, and had a couple of sequences that blew the roof off the building. Even on an off night, she found a way to leave her fingerprints all over the game. And that's what separates stars from superstars. It wasn't her loudest stat line, but it was still a performance packed with highlight reel plays.
No pass shot possessions for New York. Clark, step back 3. Oh, she hit it! And draws the foul! Out defending. Clark trying to create some airspace. Long 3 at the horn. Oh!
The entertainment value was there. 2 evenly matched teams, playoff level intensity, and a roaring crowd in Indy. This is exactly the kind of marquee matchup the WNBA dreams of. It had all the ingredients: stars shining, drama building, and a tight score all the way through. But when the final whistle blew, none of that was the headline. All anyone could talk about was the referees.
It was one of the worst referee games I've seen.
The referees for again, what, the second game in a row, I guess? Definitely for the second game of the season, the referees swallowed their freaking whistles.
The imbalance in foul calls was clear as day. The Liberty were living at the free throw line, getting 32 attempts. Meanwhile, the Fever, just 15. That's more than double. In a close game like this, that kind of disparity isn't just noticeable, it's decisive. And it wasn't just the quantity, it was how the fouls were called. The Liberty were getting touch fouls, while Caitlin and her teammates were getting body checked with no whistle. It felt like 2 different rule books were in play.
The New York Liberty were at the line 32 times to the Fever's 15, and it was just so obvious. Now, I get calling fouls, I get not calling fouls, but in this instance, there were similar fouls that were not getting called on the New York Liberty that were going towards the Fever. If you're gonna call every ticky-tacky foul, okay, call it, but call it for both teams now.
But then there's this. Caitlin Clark, just like in the preseason and just like all of last season, was getting hacked, and the refs just let it go. No calls, no protection, and at some point, it starts to feel deliberate, like they're sending a message to the rest of the league. When it comes to guarding Caitlin Clark, it's open season.
They just kept shoving Caitlin. They're like, well, they can't just keep calling fouls. I'm like, they're literally just running around hacking her. The referees have made it like a point that this is how you beat the Fever. You hack them. You don't even, it's not being physical, you just hack them. Because the referees are going to allow them be hacked. Late in the game with the Fever, hack them. Not being physical, hack them. Don't go for the ball, hack them.
But if the overall officiating wasn't already brutal, the final moments of the game absolutely clinched it. Tie game on the line. The Fever are in perfect position for a chance to steal a win against the reigning champs. And then the refs took over.
What was that play? Oh my God, this is rigged. This is rigged. She got yanked, fell on her hip. That's a hack. That's a hack. That's a hack. Oh my God, they hacked the one upon her and they hacked Caitlin Clark. They are both hacks. They are both hacks. They They hacked Fever twice, and then there was a phantom foul called on Sabrina Ionescu.
First, with the game tied and the Fever looking to take the lead, Dewana Bonner drove to the basket and got hammered.
To the hip. Clark dumps it off. Bonner blocked at the top.
Here and Caitlin.
Huge body contact, everything you'd expect to trigger a whistle, but nothing. Then came the phantom foul. Lexi Hull played textbook defense on Sabrina Ionescu and wasn't the one to initiate contact. And yet, 2 free throws were awarded. It was the ultimate gut punch, and unfortunately the refs weren't done. And then came the worst of them all, the final possession.
And this is the worst one. There's 1 foul, there's 2 fouls. Then she holds her, watch this, with her shoulder and on her arm when she follows through and then fouls her for the 4th time on her arm.
With one last chance to tie or win the game, Caitlin Clark was fouled multiple times, and the refs swallowed the whistle. Caitlin was absolutely furious. You could see it on her face immediately, arms out, yelling in disbelief. And the wildest part? The refs wouldn't even look her in the eye. And WNBA analysts were in absolute disbelief with what they just saw.
Literally, the Fever have a chance to win the game, to go up 2, they jump through her back. Caitlin Clark shooting a shot, and Natasha Howard does the dumbest thing she can possibly do by fouling Caitlin Clark on a 3-point shot, and you ignored it.
There are multiple fouls on the play, multiple fouls. She hacks her across the wrist as she's reaching to try to slap the ball away, and it was just an arm hack. It's just a hack. And then as Caitlin tries to go up into, she's going left, but she's trying to go up into her shooting motion, there's body foul, and then there's an arm foul.
And it wasn't just analysts. Fans absolutely lost it on the refs across social media. Because this wasn't just about a missed call or two, this game's inconsistency screamed that the anti-Caitlin and anti-Fever bias is still alive and well. Fans pointed out that Clark was getting mauled on drives with no whistles, while her opponents were being gift-wrapped free throws for glancing contact.
The WNBA referees are getting destroyed. And I mean, they are getting crushed online. Honestly, they're getting crushed during every single game. I've seen a lot of people come out and say, the WNBA referees, is this what it's about? Because they're the worst referees in the history of any referees.
And that's the thing. It's not just a one-off. It's a pattern, a trend, a stat-backed reality. And it's gotten so bad that even Caitlin Clark and head coach Stephanie White are starting to speak up. Those clips are coming up in a moment, but first, let's talk about what fans are actually pointing to. The free throw disparity.
The Indiana Fever this season have a discrepancy minus 31 when it comes to free throws. That doesn't seem right.
That's right. This season, the Fever are minus 31 in free throw opportunities. That is a staggering gap. In a league where games are often decided by just a few possessions, being on the wrong end of a 30-plus free throw swing isn't just a red flag, it's a 5-alarm fire. And sure, usually players and coaches bite their tongues. They try to stay neutral. They chalk it up to just part of the game. But when you stack up this kind of imbalance with all the missed calls, the non-whistles, the game-changing moments that consistently go against them, something needed to be said. And Stephanie White, she said it, loud and clear. She'd had enough.
It's taken 4 games for Stephanie White to say, you know what? I've had absolute enough. Game 1, okay. Game 2, okay. Game 3, all right. But today was the last straw.
Shout out to Stephanie White. The Fever coach stood up for her team. She demanded respect, and she blasted the refs.
In her post-game press conference, Stephanie White didn't hold back. She went straight at the officiating, calling out the obvious disrespect that had been building all season.
I thought she got fouled. You know, I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. You know, a minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, you know, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways.
This isn't something coaches want to do. No one likes to call out the refs. But when it gets this blatant, you don't have a choice. At some point, you have to speak up. You have to let the league know this kind of nonsense isn't just being noticed. It's not going to be tolerated.
Stephanie White has lost her mind over it, and I don't blame her. I mean, at least she's standing up for the team, making it a public issue. So now the WNBA is at least on notice that everybody knows it now, that this team is not getting any calls.
But maybe even more importantly, it sends a message to her team that she's got their back, that she sees what's happening out there, and she's not just going to stay quiet and hope it fixes itself. She's willing to go to bat for them, even if it means risking a fine or stirring up controversy.
So by White speaking up, not only is it a tactic to get a better whistle from the refs, but it's also a statement to say, I've got your backs to the team. And I think it needed to be said, particularly when applying it to the Indiana Fever.
In a back-and-forth game where the team made mistakes, missed opportunities, and didn't exactly play a masterpiece, but still fought their hearts out in front of their home crowd and had a chance to win it on the final possession. What happened with the officiating can be flat-out demoralizing. Moments like that hit different, because when the calls don't go your way, despite all that effort, it doesn't just sting, it lingers. And that's why Stephanie White stepping up matters. It sends a signal to her locker room that she saw it, that she's not brushing it off, that she's willing to speak up, even when it might cost her. That kind of leadership builds trust, especially for a new team still figuring each other out. As for Caitlin, she was the one who got fouled on the final play. No whistle, no help. Everyone wanted to know how she felt about it, and while she didn't throw the refs under the bus, she didn't hide her frustration either. Her answer said enough without saying it outright.
But yeah, I did not my best shooting night. I thought I could take care of the ball a little bit better. Had some tough ones, ones where my arm was getting grabbed, but whatever. But yeah, just keep at it there, keep shooting it.
And then you had Aaliyah Boston, who went with the classic no-comment approach. She kept it cool, kept it professional, but the silence said everything.
Physical into the game, trying to word this the right way. How do you accept officiating without letting it, I guess, affect how you go about and execute the rest of the game?
Yeah, when it comes to accepting, it's like we don't really have a choice because they're going to call what they want to call. And so for us, I mean, even for me, I miss some of those easy around the rim. I think for me, I have to put them in the rim for just post-talk. And we just have to finish through contact. If we don't get it, we don't get it, but we have to give ourselves the best opportunity to get that basket.
Now here's the thing. Worse than how the officiating impacted the outcome of this game is the fact that it's been an ongoing problem, and it's making the league look bad. Because this isn't just a one-off missed call in crunch time. This is a pattern, a trend, and it's unfolding in front of millions of new eyes. Caitlin Clark has brought in an entirely new audience. Fans who may be new to the WNBA, but not new to basketball. These people know the game. They know what a foul looks like. They know when a whistle's fair, and when it's complete garbage. And more importantly, they're watching, every night, every play. So when they see one team consistently getting the benefit of the doubt while another team can't buy a call, they're not confused. They're annoyed. And it's not just Caitlin Clark games. It's not just the Fever. There's frustration around the league.
BG, right now you have 10 points, 5 rebounds. We see the Atlanta Dream as being very... Right now she's talking to the refs about holding. We're going to send it back to you guys.
Very important question.
This isn't some rookie reaction. This is a WNBA veteran who's seen it all, and even she's had enough. Right now, the league is trying to turn Caitlin Clark fans into full-time WNBA fans. But instead of seizing the moment, they're shooting themselves in the foot. The officiating has been sloppy, inconsistent, and at times, flat-out embarrassing. And when you stack that on top of viral lowlight reels like Angel Reese grabbing 5 me-bounds off her own misses in under 20 seconds, it sends the worst possible message. This isn't just bad basketball. It's a branding disaster. You can't promote star players who are either getting hacked with no calls or playing worse than your kid brother on a plastic hoop in the driveway. More eyes are watching now than ever before, and every missed call, every blown assignment, every biased whistle, it all plays out in front of millions. This isn't the time for unforced errors, and it definitely isn't the time for favoritism. It's getting ugly. And the Fever? They've had enough. Their coach has spoken. Their players are feeling it. The fans are furious. The question is, will the league step up before it's too late? Because they've got the moment, they've got the audience, But if they don't get it together fast, they're going to lose both. If you're still here, drop a GOAT in the comments, because that's exactly what you are for sticking with me. See you next time.